Nation, how we doing? Happy Thursday. Thursday is my public facing day, so I'm doing interviews and podcasts and hangouts and Zoom calls all day long, and just got off an amazing session in my readers group. So if you guys have bought any of my books, I have a Facebook group for readers because it's a pretty awesome community, Believe Nation, and we do a monthly live for 25 minutes where I'm in and answering questions. And we did it as a Zoom this time, which was awesome, so we can see everybody's amazing faces. Anyway, we're going live at a little early time today because I should be having a special guest. I'm looking for him here in the chat, and we'll see if we can bring him in. But until he joins, much love, everybody. How we doing? Happy Thursday. Akash saying hi. All right, welcome. Oh, there. Okay, hold on. I see RK here in the chat. Let's bring RK in, and let's see how we can to his business. Let's bring it on. Earlier time today. All right, waiting for RK. RK, I sent you the invite. Oh, it's connecting. Here we go. It's happening. What am I looking at? RK.
Hey.
What am I looking at?
I have to turn the camera here. Yes,
There we
go.
Hey. Was that your light?
Yeah, that's my light, correct. My ring light.
I love it. Cool, man. Cool. Well, so RK is part of the Movement Makers program, and part of what we do there is go live with some of the people in the group to try to bring value as much as possible. So, RK, we're doing a special time just for you because of the time zone difference. So, how can I help? What do you got?
Great, awesome. So I was just reading the book, which I got, the Built to Serve book, and I finished my credo. I followed your advice, and it was really, I was able to relate to everything you mentioned in the book. Especially I filled up mine, which says, my credo is learn.
Nice.
And it says clarity and curiosity and change. Okay. So these are my three, credo, and my who is learn.
Okay.
So it was really good introspection to actually go through the entire exercise. So thank you so much for that, Ivan.
Cool, man. Glad it helped. So what do you got? How can I help now?
All right. So right now in the business, I'm actually in a transition from offering marketing services to a few dozen clients to actually building my own audience, so I can influence my personal branding and my thought leadership. So I actually started writing my book. It's called Fire Your Agency. Okay. From my 12 years of running a marketing agency.
Okay.
I created this book, I wrote this book called Fire Your Agency, Gaining Clarity, to win big with digital marketing. So I want to understand, you have gone through the entire process of building a personal brand around what you believe in, and your entire credo. So I'm aspiring to follow your footsteps. To build my own audience and a personal brand. So what would be your advice for me?
You build a community around learn. So
correct. Building a community around digital marketing, and so I'm on a mission to help 1 million business owners to become better marketers. So my target audience are business owners, and I want to help them to become better marketers so they can build better and scale faster.
Yeah, I love it. Listen, I mean, your who is learn, and what you're basically doing is saying, don't hire a digital marketing agency. You should learn this yourself.
Correct. Absolutely. Because most often the business owners, they approach a marketing agency thinking that it's like a magic pill or a secret switch. Okay. They can pay money and they can get results like leads and sales at the end. But oftentimes when I ask some questions to the business owners on who their audience are and what problem they are solving, they haven't really figured out, because they fell in love with their product that they forgot who they have created it for.
Yeah. Okay. So what were the three? I'm going to write it down again. What were the three? What are the 3 parts? You had change. Let me get a pen here.
Change. Yeah. So basically, what I wrote in the credo is the community that I'm building is around, clarity, clear path, and consistency, which is a clarity on their target audience and the pain points, and consistency to publish content on a regular basis, and a clear path that they can take their audience through.
Sure. And the book is one big piece of content, but it's not the entire community that you're trying to build. And so clarity, even before thinking about content or even who you're targeting, comes with clarity over what marketing is, right? Like a big reason why entrepreneurs will try to hire a digital marketing agency is because they don't have clarity over marketing. So like, okay, I don't know what to do, so I need to hire a digital marketing agency. And you're saying, no, fire your agency. But step one,
Right.
before getting to consistency, right, is well,
Yes.
having some clarity over what I even need to be doing. So having that breakdown to say, hey, digital marketing is not that difficult. You can learn it. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And helping them get the clarity so that they can explore their curiosity and then make the change that they need. Because
Yes.
when they feel overwhelmed and bombarded, I feel like it's too much. They don't give themselves permission to have curiosity to figure it out. They feel it's just
Right.
too big. It's too big a thing.
Absolutely. So, absolutely well said. Because this is a book that I wish that I had written much earlier. So before I took on a client, instead of sending them a questionnaire, right, or an onboarding form, if I could send them a kind of a document or an ebook which would help me to set expectations with my clients, I think we would have had much more successes than we already had. And this is when I speak to a lot more agency owners, they all say the same thing. If they had the clarity of what they really want to accomplish at the end of the, let's say a 6 months period or 3 month period, the results would have been much, much faster and much more impactful. So,
Great. So you think of it like this, right? Like I have a book, right? Built to Serve. I know you have a copy there. This book is part of my brand, but it's not my whole brand. This is one big piece of content that lives inside my brand. So if you're thinking about building RK, the brand, the book lives underneath it, but it's not the whole thing. Your brand is about learning, and you're going to help people get clarity and then get the curiosity to then make the change. And so what you want to be thinking right now is how do you create content every day on the major platforms that inspires people to want to learn this and feel like it's actually possible. Like that bridge between, I know digital marketing works, but I don't know how to do it because it's too crazy and too overwhelming and it's too difficult. RK is the guy in the middle saying, no, this is doable. It's not super easy, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you, and you become that bridge. You give them the clarity. So now it's everyday content. It's making content every day that inspires people to want to learn the digital marketing side of things so that they can start to grow their business.
Absolutely. Great. This is really great insights. I just wish that there were I met you like a few years ago.
but it's great that you didn't, right? Because everything that I make is for Evan from a few years ago. Because you went through that pain and suffering, everything that you make is for RK a couple of years ago.
Right.
So you're going to
that is great.
You're going to save lots of people because there's lots of people who right now are RK from 3-5 years ago. And now you're going to help them get there a lot faster than the struggle and the journey that you went on.
Absolutely. Great. So what would be your advice for someone who wants to start creating videos and on a consistent basis? I've learned that you also were like an introvert. You've written that about that in your book, that you would find reasons to run away from camera a few years ago, right? And what made that change? What made that shift in your mindset on being fearless, or being more open about your, or more vocal about your thoughts? And how can someone start being
About being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway, or doing it because
okay?
of, right? Like if you only did the things that you were fearless of, you wouldn't have come live on this Instagram. You wouldn't have written the book. You wouldn't have started your agency, right? I mean, everything that you want is on the other. Being afraid is not a good enough reason for you not to take action. So that's step one. Like anytime you hear yourself, I want to film a video, but I'm afraid, not a good enough reason. Let's go, RK. Like that's what I would tell myself. Not a good enough reason, Evan. Go make it, right? I'm afraid, not a good enough reason, RK. Go do it. Being afraid is not a good enough reason, not anymore.
Right.
And then, why are you getting on camera? It's not because you're trying to get your face in front of a bunch of people. It's because you're trying to inspire people, because you're trying to touch people who are the RK from 3 years ago. You're trying to serve. You're trying to help, right? Like, you're built to serve, right? You're trying to help.
Absolutely.
This is to try to bring value. And so every time I switched it in my head to go from, I used to think it's about me. It's like I don't need people to know me. I don't crave the spotlight. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like having it all on me. It just doesn't, being an introvert, I don't like it. But I'm also here to serve, and I want to help. And if you don't get your message out there, a lot of entrepreneurs are going to fail in their business. If you don't get your message out there, a lot of entrepreneurs are going to fail in their business. And that's what I would tell myself. Like, if I don't make this video, people are going to fail. And then that's on me. Why? Because you're afraid to get in front of the camera, right? I mean, that's the conversation I would have with myself to get out there and start creating content. And once I realized that it's not about me, it's about them, right? It's about the audience. It's about serving. That shifted the perspective for me and gave me the extra courage to get out and do it. I didn't have a ton of confidence because I hadn't done it before, but it gave me the courage to go off and try it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So even the other question I had in mind was also something which will help everyone who is watching it, is that you see a lot of different forms of video content out there, right? Some of them are short, like 3-minute, 5-minute clips, and some of them even 1-minute clip, and some of them are like 25-minute, like sit down kind of. You can sit down and watch it. So how do you really select the kind of content that you want to put out based on the topics? Whether do you follow any specific framework or a thought process on whether to create a 3-minute video for something, or whether to go for a longer 10-minute video or 20-minute video?
So, and before I answer that question, I just want to give you respect as well, because I wouldn't have done this when I was first getting started on YouTube, and I had a chance to go and talk to somebody on Instagram Live, if that existed back then. I would have been too afraid. I would have been like, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not going live, So you're already doing it. You're already ahead of where I was when I first got started, and you're doing great. So I just wanted to let you know that. For video length, here's how I would kind of structure it. I look at YouTube as number one, and I want 10-minute plus videos. So YouTube, 10-minute plus videos at least once a week. Like, you should right now put that in your calendar. Find a time that you can make 10-minute plus YouTube videos once a week.
Once a week.
That's our minimum. That's our minimum. Like, that has to happen. If you can do more than that, great. But as a minimum, I want once a week going up on YouTube. Now, what kind of video is that? There's different options. This is where you have to play to see what do you like doing. So it could be RK doing a marketing rant. It could be you coming in and saying, here's what's wrong with digital agencies, or here's what's wrong with entrepreneurs, and teaching me. It could be RK on a whiteboard and writing things on the whiteboard and telling me your 5 secrets of digital marketing. It could be RK doing coaching calls, right? Like this is a coaching call. You could be doing the other side of it, where somebody's coming on and you're helping them find clarity, right? And make the change and discover the curiosity and learn about digital marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of different formats. It could be interview. It could be you having guests on and you're asking them questions. Inside of that, you have to figure out what do you like doing the most. And you try all of them. Like you try all 4 of those and you see where do you come alive the most. What did you enjoy? There's no right or wrong. It's more, if you are forced to do this and you don't like it, you're not going to win, even if it's a great strategy. So which of that style do you actually like doing the most? And then doing more of them, right? But at least 10 minutes, YouTube once a week. From there, you then cut up that video for the other platforms. So you'll take the best quotes, the best one-liners, and turn them into pictures that go to Instagram and go to Twitter. You'll take the best 45-second clip from that 10 minutes and turn it into a 45-second IG post and Twitter video and LinkedIn video. Perfect. Right? You could take a longer version of it, like a 4-minute version, and make that an IGTV, right? So your one video per week now can be cut up 100 times into different pieces of content for all the platforms. So you're everywhere. But you don't have to create unique content for every single platform.
Correct.
You just have to spice it up. And if you're in digital marketing, you already know how to do all that stuff.
But, of course. We do it for the podcast, like repurposing the same content with multiple formats.
Is it a video
That's perfect.
Podcast?
Yes, I have a podcast called The Growth Launchpad, and we do the exact same thing, wherein I interview an expert in one particular field, and I also ask them short questions of each of 2 or 3 minutes long, and I convert the entire episode into a long podcast, and also I cut up those videos into multiple things. I call them as growth nuggets. The 3-minute videos which I cut up, I call it as the growth nuggets.
And how often is that? How often is the podcast?
It's usually twice a month. I have a podcast guest, so now I'm going to make it once a week at least.
And, okay, so I like that. Like twice a month, you're bringing on a guest that you're going to learn from. Great, I love that. I want the once a week RK content.
Okay,
because
absolutely.
If you're only interviewing people, then you become the interviewer. But if you want to be the thought leader, I have to know what your thoughts are. So you have to share your thoughts, not just ask questions.
Absolutely.
So that mix. So I like it. If you're doing once a week RK, whiteboard, talking to the camera, doing coaching, and then every 2 weeks you're doing a podcast, video podcast where you're interviewing people, that's a really great start. And then your golden nuggets, what did you call it? Golden nuggets?
Yeah, growth nuggets. Growth nuggets.
Growth nuggets. They should be learn nuggets, though. You're about learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that L? Yeah. Learning, instead of nuggets, what could we call it? The learning, I don't know.
Yeah, so I have a blog called rklearns.com.
Okay.
I think I'm going to use that more. I mean, I'm going to post all my content there as well as a blog. I could repurpose the video that I have spoken about and have that video converted into a blog post, and I could also use that as my.
How about like light bulb learnings?
Sorry, light bulb learnings. Yeah, that's really good.
Instead of growth nuggets, light bulb learnings.
Light bulb, yeah, absolutely.
And now you're cutting up your own stuff, right? So you have your 3 minutes from marketing guest expert, and then you have your 3 minutes from RK, who's sharing all the stuff you're doing already, just now more of it and for yourself instead of just showing other people.
Right. That's great. That's awesome. And I also wanted to get your insights about the trend that is shifting from people who are, for example, I am 35 years old. I'm turning 30 next week, and 35 next week. And then the way that I have been brought up is like, I have to create wealth for my family to be, in a very comfortable position, right? So I was raised in a way that I have to be the breadwinner of the family. But with the millennials, I see the trend that the parents have already are in a well-to-do position, and the kids who are passing out of colleges and schools right now, uh, they are no more pressurized to earn money for the family. They are more focused on how they can create value and how they can contribute in a meaningful way to the society. And these kids also have more ability to follow their dreams. They don't. So, for example, when I was growing up, my only option it was either to become a doctor or an engineer, right? So these days, even in India, I can see that people are no more, uh, forcing their children to fall into that doctor or engineer category.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of the huge, shift in the thought, pattern in just one generation gap. And for this reason, I actually wanted to help these people who are passing out from the colleges and getting the graduates some sort of a way where I can help them to learn the digital skills in such a way that they can do it from wherever they want in the world. If they want to travel, they can travel the world and still be able to do, for example, copywriting could be a skill that they could learn, or social media, or even websites, building websites, or conversion specialists, right? So I want to build up like a school where they can become an ambassador. So I call them as the growth ambassadors because they are helping businesses and entrepreneurs to grow with digital marketing. So I want to name it as the skills or digital skills that helps you pay the bills, right? It has some kind of a good notion to it. And I want to understand how I can effectively capture the attention of these millennials, to help them understand that there is so much, out there that you can actually start building your skills, so that in a way that it can help you become location independent and lead a freedom lifestyle.
So it's still going to be
and
through
earn money
content,
at the same
right?
time.
Like more content. It's you sharing.
Correct.
One, it's sharing your story that you almost became a doctor or an engineer, that your parents wanted you to be a doctor and engineer. It's not Evan Carmichael from Canada telling you to do something who's like, my parents said, hey, you can do whatever you want. It's RK from India saying, no, I come from the same background you did, and my parents wanted me to be a doctor or an engineer. Like, you understand what they're going through better than an Evan Carmichael or Tony Robbins or whoever, right? And then teaching them. It's the same thing, right? Like, through learning, you're going to help them. A lot of them, and I get them all the time in my DMs, in showing up to live streams, because it's never been more possible. The challenge is when you're like, if you're 30, I'm 40 now. You're 35. When your parents were 35 years old, they didn't have opportunities like you have right now.
Absolutely.
They couldn't be doing this thing. There's no way. And so the parents are thinking a certain way based off of when they were that age, but the world has changed. And so the young people, what they need help with, they know they want to do something more. They know they don't want to be a doctor and an engineer. They know they want to do something different. What they don't have is the clarity so that they can figure out their curiosity and then make the change. Right?
Right.
It's like those three things that tie into learning for you is always going to be the answer. And it starts in that order. It's like helping people get the clarity over how to do it. Like, I know I don't want to be a doctor. Great. But then the parents are going to say, okay, well, how are you going to go do it? And they don't have an answer. They don't know. That's what you need to help them with. RK comes along and actually gives them the blueprint, the skills to pay the bills, the clarity, right? So it's still through creating content. regular content of you telling your story, of you coaching other people coming on. Like I would do it, like I do this daily show on my Instagram Live, right? Monday to Friday, normally at 2 o'clock. We change the time for you on this one. But you do your regular show where you do 25 minutes and bring young people on who want to do their own thing and have no idea how to do it. And they don't have the skills, but they know that they don't want to be an engineer. And you help them. And that becomes content. That becomes a YouTube video. That becomes micro content in your 25 minutes. Like if we're going to take this video that we're doing here, there's 3 or 4 or 5 different sections that we could cut into micro content for all sorts of different platforms. That's what I'd like you to do. You bring millennials on and you coach them and you help them and you get their story out, you share your story, and then you teach them the thing that they need so that they actually have the clarity to go create the path for themselves instead of just knowing that they could be more but not taking any action because they don't have the clarity.
Right. So a lot of these things, everybody in the comments also saying that we have to teach the skills ourselves without any guidance and also without a proper roadmap or a pathway that we could follow. So, what I really like about it is so that I can speak from my own experience because, my dream was to travel to 30 countries before I turned 30. So my mission 30 before 30, I was able to accomplish that because of the, digital marketing, the flexibility that comes with it. Right. So I was able to travel the world. After I was 20, I started traveling. And before 30, I already completed 30 countries. And wherever I went, I used to make sure that I have a good internet connection and a good laptop.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was able to do it. So I want to make sure, I want to teach the same thing that I was able to accomplish to people so that...
it's only easier now.
Yes.
You did it, 5, 7, 9 years ago. It's only easier now in 2020, 2021. But a lot of people would look to you and say, wow, I would love to do that too, but that's not possible. I can't do that. I mean, if it was me, Evan Carmichael, saying it, I'd have people who say, well, I'm from India. I can't do that. It's easy for you in Canada to do it, but I can't do that. I'm from India. Meanwhile, RK has done it from India. Right? So just taking people into that story, say, hey, I wanted to do this, and I did it. And you can too. And here's how. And here's how to do it even faster and how to actually go off and live your dream. And I want to teach you. And bringing people in and coaching them and helping them and turning that into content.
Absolutely.
I love it, dude.
Yes. Thank you. And yes, even I heard that you're from Toronto, right?
Yes.
Great. So, we are looking at a startup visa application, so we, already are through a few rounds of it. And then I look forward to, coming to Toronto sometime next year after all the craziness ends, once we're able to do the international travel again.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, welcome aboard. Let me know when you're here.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you for the time. Hope you do super well with the book and can't wait to see the growth of both of your missions for helping the millennials as well as helping entrepreneurs get the digital marketing straight.
Yes, because there's an ecosystem wherein it feeds, it supports each other grow.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Evan, for your time.
You,
really appreciate it.
All right.
Namaste.
Namaste. Take care.